ground. Cirrus de Ziegler from Nathaniel Frankel, keeping closer, still being held together by Tom Queally. Cirrus de Ziegler, Frankel moves alongside. Queally's finger poised on the button for one final electric burst. Frankel bidding to settle it. Cirrus de Ziegler is making a fight of it on the far side. Frankel extends. Cirrus de Ziegler is a worthy adversary, but up towards the line. All comers, all grounds, all beaten. Frankel won the Champion Stakes and lives up to the title.
Yes, what a wonder horse he is. Frankel winning his 14th and final race a couple of days ago in sensational fashion. Missed the start, wins by 3, $1.20, stealing money, stealing wheat from blind chooks, as our old mate says.
You do love those shorties, Russ, but as we've
Never
seen...
in doubt.
Yeah, well, Frankel's never in doubt. He's 14 from 14, but I wouldn't want to be taking short odds about some of those favourites we've seen in Sydney and Melbourne over the past couple of weeks.
What did you think of the Frankel performance? You would have had a bet on it. You would have taken the $1.20.
I think it was fantastic that Frankel got over 32,000 people to a racetrack, and I think that speaks of how highly regarded across the world he and Black Caviar are, just to dance around the question.
I did read somewhere, it might have been a tweet, that Dunedain's 3 wins netting about $5.5 million in Australia versus Frankel's 14 wins, nowhere near the same sort of coin. Why aren't they coming over here more often?
Yeah, well, it's just because...
He does have a stud value of $140 million.
He does, and his owner is not exactly a battling, so I don't think he really needs
the
to...
Sheikh?
Yeah, no, he doesn't need to travel halfway around the world with a horse worth that much.
Was worth paid £5,000 for it or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Great story. Great story. I love a battler who's done well like the Sheikh.
Yeah.
I backed the half-brother on Thursday night to Frankel too, who ran a nice 8th or something like that too. So it just goes to show the success doesn't always...
Vale?
No, it wasn't at Vale. It was over in England. But
My
anyway.
half-brother's no good either, mate, so don't worry about that. Let's have a look about where our next winner's going to come from. The Group 1 Cox Plate this weekend, and a lot of pressure on the First Lady of Racing, Gai Waterhouse, who saddles up the favourite yet again in Piero. Also More Joyous, and also Prasia. Now, I'm going to ask you guys the big question. Cox Plate first up, and second up, is Gai starting to feel the heat?
Oh, she's certainly under a bit of pressure because she's had a great time in Sydney, but she's come down to Melbourne and haven't exactly got things as the way she'd probably planned out. But I can't knock her 3 horses going into the race. I think they've all got genuine chances in a Cox Plate.
Let's have a look at the Luxbet odds there, Quinny. You can see that the favourite, of course, is Piero, $3.50. Was $1.95 for a heartbeat there 2 weeks ago. Green Moon, $5. Ocean Park at $6. Then you start getting a bit of value with More Joyous and Prasia or Tens, All Too Hard with a... I think they'll run All Too Hard. Yeah,
there's a big question mark still on him, but you'd have to think, given his run in the Guineas, where else are you going to go with a horse like that, unless they press on to the Vars or something. But if you're going to run 2,000 metres on Cox Plate Day, I'd be having a crack at the Cox Plate.
Absolutely. You're going to run 2,000 on Flemington. Why wouldn't you run against them for exactly 3 times as much in terms of prize money and stud value? What do you think?
For the Cox Plate, I'm going to stick with Piero. I think, obviously, he was incredibly unlucky in the Guineas and ran a very good race. And if he won that, which he was entitled to do, then what odds is he? He's $1.80, and you're going to get, maybe $4 on the day. So I'm going to stick with Piero. I'm going to stick to Gai to bounce back. But the horse I'll be leaving out of the trifectas is More Joyous.
Ooh. OK, let's go back to that race you mentioned, the 1,000 Guineas. You can see it the last couple of 100 metres. You don't see the first 400 when he got absolutely gassed. Barrier draw is going to be so important because the speed map could put him wide, could put him on the inside.
It could, but I'm starting to think maybe is there a question mark with this horse at 2,000 metres? There has to be a question mark because he's never been there before. His breeding on the dam side suggests that he'll run it, but there's not many Lonros that run a genuine sort of weight for age 2,000 metre horses. So
Lonro did OK at it.
Yeah, he did himself, but at the Valley he wasn't exactly at his best. But yeah, I'm starting to think Piero may be a little bit vulnerable at the 2,000 metres.
OK, what about his stablemate Prasia, beaten last start on merits by It's a Done Deal? Gai holds the handle here with Prasia because it certainly resented being ridden back. I think they've got to push forward with Prasia.
Yeah. 100% agree. I'll just argue Brent's point about the Guineas a little bit. I mean, we saw in that Caulfield Guineas where he had to work so hard, and yes, he tired late, but he was entitled to do so. So we look back, the Caulfield Guineas has always been a great form line, and I think it'll be a fantastic form line again this year. And Prasia, I just want to see it go forward. That's all I want to see, be top 4 in the run and take advantage of that lightweight. last start.
It's
Never
got to
really.
lead. I think there's nothing there that screams other than Glass Harmonium that's going to lead.
And I think Glass Harmonium will run a very cheeky race at big odds too. He's always a bit of a nut before the race. You see him carrying on and the poor attendants having a nightmare getting him into the barriers. But at big odds, with not a lot of speed in the race, I think he can give a really good account for himself.
Okay, and the third one of the Waterhouse trilogy is, of course, More Joyous. You're on for a little bit. You fancy her, but she really has to bounce back.
I think she can, though. I think weight for age suits her much better than the handicap conditions of the Toorak. She carried 60 kilos in Sols and Nitzen had 52. Now that it's flipped around and she'll be getting weight off the boys. So it's a big plus of her, and she's had another run. She goes up to the 2,000 metres. This is the race she's been set for. I wouldn't be ruling her off. She's certainly a very good horse.
Okay, yeah, our Twitter address at TVNTTYK, and a couple of disgruntled Talkin Thru Your Kick punters have unleashed. Coxie, not happy about Gay. Stop lying to the punters and telling us how good your horses are, and it will just win. Sick of it.
Which is a bit of a double-edged sword. I'm going to defend Gay a bit on this one.
I mean, Gay's got to... You can't go out there and say, I think I'm going to run fourth.
No, and she did come out after the Breeders' Plate and say, Pierre, I'd win the Golden Super. Hello, it did
She
that.
did. They all said that More Joyous was vulnerable at the weight. They did declare Pressier and Piero.
Yeah, but exactly. But they've only been beaten this far. But
here's another one. Which overhyped Gay favourite will get rolled next week? Bookies must make fortune laying her in Melbourne. Well, it's just, look, and here's the crucial factor. Did some research. Gay's had 11 runners in Melbourne since the start of, I included Piero's Friday night win in the Stud Stakes. He's the only winner. He's $1.06 as
Hallowell
a favourite.
Bell.
Hallowell Bell won as a $7.50 pop. But there's been Cabayan, Rockford, Piero beaten, More Joyous, Overreach, Tribal Rock last week at the 1,000 Guineas Day, Cabayan.
Tribal Rock had won earlier in
Sale.
Yeah, it's Sale, but still, we've got to get that in.
That was on the Thursday. I'm using that as a technicality.
Okay, so it's Wednesdays and Saturday meetings only.
It's...
But
in
the
Sydney,
proof's in the pudding.
flying.
The proof's in the pudding. The results in Melbourne certainly aren't as good as they are.
Well, you still need to interview her on a Wednesday and a Thursday, so you have to be nice.
No, exactly. But the thing with it is, a lot of her horses start under the odds just because of who they're trained by. I think that there's a lot taken into that.
I'm going to throw a wild card. My Cox Plate tips are as follows. I think that Ethiopia is going to blow them all away from Piero.
Your shout on Saturday night if it gets the cash.
And Prasier. I think the 3-year-olds hold a hand, but I just love what Pet Carey's doing with Ethiopia. You're going with...
More Joyous, I'm going to stick with her, and I think Green Moon's going to be awfully hard to beat. I reckon there'll be about a long neck between the two of them.
And for third?
Piero.
Okay.
I've got Piero on top. I've got Ocean Park for second. I think he's really the forgotten horse. He just doesn't seem to be getting any media attention. But his runs this campaign have been sensational, and I think he'll be even better at 2040. And for third, I've got Rekindled Interest at a bit of odds.
Yeah, and Brendan Adalapa is going to ride one of those horses. Borat, I think his nickname is anyway. I'm lucky you didn't give him a slap. You'd think it's an offence. Let's quickly move across to Friday night because there's 2 meetings on this weekend. It's a bit weird. Friday night lights, but is it Friday night right to have a Friday night Manikato Group 1? What happens if it hoses down on Friday night? They chop up the track in the back.
What happens? What are we going to live the...
Do you think it's a good idea?
Yes, I think it's good. I think Moonee Valley, well done to the Moonee Valley Race Club.
I was just being devil's advocate.
For having the guts to go out there and put one of their big Group 1 races on a Friday night.
But then not having the guts to stand up to Channel 9 on the following day because they wanted to play Getaway and we had to move the sporting...
That's a whole other argument. That is a whole other argument. But I think it's good making a 2-day carnival. We see it around the country with other race meetings. Why not have 2 nights, Friday night into the Saturday? I think it's
good. You like it, of course. More bets, more races, more me.
More winners.
More winners.
Well, the fact that they race 4 times in 7 days at Flemington and no one has a problem with that, but all of a sudden we're racing twice at Moonee Valley and everyone's going, oh no, we can't do this.
And it's a track they don't even train horses at.
Mate, I don't have a problem with it. What I do have a problem with is not backing enough winners. Now, Manikato Stakes is the Group 1. Buffering takes on... Sea Siren. There's a huge push out of Sydney for the John O'Shea Sea Siren. Go back a couple of weeks ago to Buffering's win in Caulfield. It was a fabulous win. He's bulletproof. He's always better value because he's not trained by one of the superstars. Huey Bowman had plenty left in the tank this day.
He certainly does. He just rolls up the sleeves and gets the job done. He's a tough weight for age sprinter, and that's what you like to see in these races. But, geez, I think he's probably going to be a bit short now for mine in the Manikato.
$2.50. There's the odds on screen now. $2.50, $5 Sea Siren, $6.50 Lone Rock, and do your best. Snitzerland won't probably run.
No, definitely
Ready to rip, maybe, if they go there.
Sea Siren holds the key, as you mentioned, from the trial, and she beat Buffering at weight for age during the Brisbane Winter Carnival. So she's the X factor for mine. With her in the field, I think Buffering's a little bit skinny at the 250.
Okay.
Especially considering Buffering started a bigger price, his 2 wins this campaign against probably, I suppose, weaker opposition. So does rise in class, and you're taking a shorter price.
Well, we have to make mention of a horse called How Much Do You Love Me, who absolutely blew them away in a sprint race. Who rode? Brenton did. Brenton Almy and B. Abdullah. I'll get it right, mate. I'm a professional. You're a former teammate at school.
Brenton Abdullah,
He
what a great ride it was too.
You were a ruckman. Did the job. Will probably now head to the Salinger and then perhaps the Patinack.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the Carrick-Cassana stable do. But if he comes out and wins the Salinger on the Saturday, I can't imagine they're not going to back up the following week on Emirates Dave to run in for the Patinack for $1 million.
And $5,000, they rejected offers to sell the horse. This is the brand new Takeover Target story.
And he won the Ramon. He's still got a little bit to go for to be half as good as Takeover Target, but certainly starting his career in the right fashion.
I tell you what, if you want to start your punting career in the right fashion, then head to puntersparadise.com.au. They are our website that we team up with each and every week. They've got the $1,000 Lux Bet tipping contest going on right throughout the spring. Go there, and of course you can also enjoy one of these frothy ones if you do the right thing. The brand new lager.
Yeah, I saw you sampling them last Friday. How come, did you happen to get any?
They
must have lost my number again.
Yeah, they must have 3 cartons. Just
having it at the Barwick residence.
Got stopped on the postal.
Oh, please.
The guy said, "I've got to go and find Zarafa." I said, "No, he's moved. Give that to me." We'll take a break. Come back with more in just a sec.